It's finally spring over here in Lebanon, which means it's time for camping. We packed all our stuff and headed to peaceful Baskinta to film this week's rather daunting tester. I'm joined by my buddies Anthony and Mark, and of course the highlight of the weekend is a car that's quite familiar to a lot of people. Or is it?
Hello everyone and welcome back. This weekend I'm spending my time with the 2024 Ineos Grenadier, the new rugged and boxy old school off-roader. So the first thing that strikes you when you look at the Ineos Grenadier is how much it resembles the original Defender, which is what this car was based on in terms of design. Obviously it takes a lot of again design cues from Mercedes G-Class, for example, especially from the front. The boxy and rugged shape of it really appeals to a lot of that generation, you know, which were a big fan of the old Defender, and it's not present anymore. Do you believe this is like a proper successor to the Land Rover Defender, or do you like where the new design is headed? You can see we have round tail lights. Show you the split tailgate. Simply press on here and then there's another latch. We have 1,225 liters of cargo area. Managed to fit all our camera equipment and the camping gear that we needed. Storage over here on the side. You have access to the hydraulic jack. And you can see on the door over here, you have a triangle and a first aid kit for your emergencies. And so below the spare tire, you have the only camera on this car, which is a rear view camera. Again, it's not of the highest quality, it's a bit small. You have a skid plate, as you can see, and then tow hooks on either side. Vents over here, which look pretty cool. Even though this is a British company, the car is built in France. Grab handles over there on the top, and then you can see this tray over here which accumulates the rain so it doesn't really fall on you. We have LED lighting elements, 4 of them, metal over here. You can step on here as well and you have a Grenadier logo, again with the red V that's inverted. This car also comes as standard with a snorkel that feeds cold air into that engine. It has a nice intake sound to it every time you remove your foot off the accelerator. You have the reflector that's actually mounted on the snorkel. And then if you look through the windshield, you're going to see a Grenadier emblem over there. It's powered by BMW V58, a 3-liter inline 6. It makes 286 horsepower, 450 newton meters of torque. It's mated to the ZF 8-speed transmission. So there's a lot of things to talk about inside the Ineos Grenadier. There's a lot of buttons, an overload of them, which I honestly love. I'm so happy that even though you have a massive screen in the center, none of the basic controls that you want to have are actually in that screen. In fact, there's a lot of stuff that you'd expect to have them on the screen and they're not. They're just buttons over here, which is super, super nice, especially for your driving modes. Grenadier obviously on the top, but you can see we have diff locks, a nice dimensions writing over here, so you know if you can actually drive through certain conditions. And then we have wading, off-road modes, assistance for your traction control, and then downhill assist. You can control your exterior lights, interior lights, whatever. So a lot of very high quality buttons, and I love these accents over here, the aluminum. And you are going to see there are a lot of toggle switches over here in the back. These are auxiliary switches. And then starting off with the steering wheel, you can see we have a marking over here on 12 o'clock. Beautiful leather wrapped stitching, and then you can see controls for your cruise control. So this car has 2 horns. This one is for the like cyclists and pedestrians, so it's not that loud. And then you have another horn which is much louder, which is really cool. You can use that in the city. And then you have a Grenadier writing down at the bottom. Stocks, obviously, basic stuff on the right and the left behind the steering wheel. Now, one thing I want to point out is that the door handle doesn't feel as solid when you open the door. It feels super light to open. Some people, you know, might appreciate it, so it's not really that hard to open the door. But I felt like with the thud of the door and how well and solid it's built, I felt like the door handle could have been slightly more hard to use. And just look at how nice these buttons look. I love the font that they use, by the way. Everything feels high quality, and look at the small area that they did for the hazards. Pretty nice design. You want to click every single button that you see, which is why I did an ASMR video for this on Instagram if you want to check it out. This is your key, by the way, pretty conventional key fob, locking and unlocking the vehicle, and then this is your flip up, and you insert it over here. This is how you turn on the ignition. The screen over here puts all your warning lights. Off-road is my favorite part of it. If you go on to the different settings, there's a lot of information displayed on here with the altitude, latitude, whatever. The charging of the battery. Since this car has a BMW powertrain, it has to have a BMW gear selector. This is the previous generation BMW gear lever. Upshift and downshift, and then put it back into park by itself. This is how you control your four-wheel drive. You simply lift this up and then you put it into a high or low. Fun buttons to press and click 2 cup holders, which fit big piles of water. You can see over here you have a space to put your phone, like a small tray. Surprisingly enough, I used quite a few times during this weekend. Now the visors are huge, but you do not get any mirrors or lights, which may be a disappointment to some. Now the center console is nicely leather wrapped, and you lift it up, you can see we have storage area with a USB port, over here USB-C, and a 12-volt power outlet. Recaro seats. Probably my favorite part of the whole interior are these windows above you that you can simply close as such. Lift this up, there we go. It gets a lot of light into the cabin, but they're tinted, so it doesn't really bother you with the sun. So driving impressions in the Ineos Grenadier. Anthony's here.
So guys,
we would love to hear his input on the car as well. So we have skid plates, which is good, so we don't damage the underbody. Plenty of torque to get you out.
thanks to that B58.
Definitely B58. It even sounds good with the burbles in the back, right?
Yep. And we have the snorkel up front, which every time you floor the car, it gives you like a nice...
It breathes. Yeah, there we go. There's a few things I want to mention based on the seating position and everything that is seen and not driven. First of all, the B-pillar is very close to my shoulder, so this is my seating position. I feel like I have a blind spot on the side. I don't know if you felt it as well.
Yeah, kind of.
I believe they made it for safety, so like you're not facing the glass. I'm missing a lot of room where I can be looking at the car, for example, when I'm driving. So this gets into the way. Steering wheel feels nice, I have to say, nice leather. Steering feedback, what do you think of it?
I mean, it's not my favorite because, I mean, you have to turn the wheel like 3 times for it to just lock to the right or left. I'm not sure if that's like an off-roady thing that they do. If you're going a bit fast in the car, you're not really confident where the steering is, like where the tires are if you're going really fast. It's a bit loose.
I see what you mean, yeah.
But at the same time, I believe they do that for off-roading purposes, so that you don't do like major turns while you're like crawling over a rock or any like extreme off-roading conditions.
Cannot change any driving mode besides these 2 above, which is off-road and wading.
Yep.
That's it. So let's press on off-road and see if we can feel any difference.
So in off-road mode, it turns off the ESC and we get some more graphics on the screen.
Yep. What do you think of the seating comfort?
These are Recaro seats. So they
smell nice.
They smell nice. I mean, it's a brand new car, less than 1,000 kilometers on the clock, but they are comfortable, and you have these side bolsters that do hold you in pretty good while you're off-roading. I mean, with you just rock crawling these massive rocks right now, I mean, I'm very comfortable sitting in the car.
Steering, by the way, is now stiffer, which is good to note. Yeah, in off-road.
That's good.
It definitely feels nicer to drive, more steering feedback.
That's good.
I would say the car is big, it's huge, and
it's a massive car.
It feels big, especially with visibility I feel it's compromised. The side mirrors are huge and they're good. You can see a lot of stuff.
You feel like the dash gets higher compared to the door cards.
Yes, and I don't like that we don't have any armrest.
That's true.
You have to sit like this.
That's true.
Yeah, so I'm not used to that. So yeah, rear visibility now going back, and I feel like they made it a point not to have a lot of cameras in this car, so because
more
it's like
off-roady, like back to basics, old school driving experience.
So we only have a rear view camera, which is tiny, and the quality isn't all that great. We're gonna pop it into manual shifting, and let's see. And
oh, that sounds good actually.
It sounds really good. The shifter feels nice to use. I mean, we're used to that on other BMW products.
Yep.
And accelerating a bit more.
Oh man, the turbo is smooth.
You can hear that turbo.
It sounds pretty good. See what I'm talking about? When you're going at speeds, the steering wheel is not very like confident in inducing.
Yeah.
You know?
So, but it does put the power down, and that's all you really need in this car. It doesn't feel heavy, which is good, especially when you're accelerating.
Yeah.
I feel like the engine spools up pretty quickly, and you really enjoy driving this car. But if it weren't for the
I mean, we have steel bumpers, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, we have steel bumpers.
he was slowing down next to a tree, so
for sure, that's one thing.
I believe we can go through a tree and just take it with us.
Yeah, exactly. We just have to have a. What's with the name? Do you like the name?
Ineos Grenadier.
Yeah.
So Grenadier. I mean, have you told them the story yet?
I haven't.
So Grenadier came to light when the owner, some billionaire in the UK, was having a pint of beer at his favorite local bar, which so happened to be called Grenadier. So
Grenadier.
That's where the name came from, and they decided to go for a Land Rover Defender kind of inspiration for the car.
So you can see a lot of inspiration from that.
Exactly.
And arguably, which this is how we're gonna end the video, let us know if you would spend Land Rover Defender money on an Ineos. They're both great offerings. One is more old school than the other.
Right. Exactly.
So let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time.
Like, comment, and subscribe in the bottom.
See you.
See you guys.
This is where the Grenadier. Metro. Shut your. Sorry. It is what it is.
No!
خلاص مش حتبين. But the new Defender should have been.
Should have been. انت عم ناخذها مثل ما انا عم بعملها.
لا قلت لي بقى اعمل should have been. شو بك؟
عمين عم تعيط.
ليك يا
Is that what we kiss?
and it
For Ineos Grenadier.
and it's what the new Defender.
هو اللي بس Call of Duty مثلا بيكون قاعد.
ايه عملية سمكة مود bro. And if you're a fan of quirky features with a German powertrain.
And with a marketing that sucks. It's a test.
Grenadier is here to bring rugged modeliness to the table. Bring rugged off-roadiness. ليه عم بقول off-roadiness?
بامبو كلاد جادو ما في عشاء لك على فكرة ما عملنا حسابك اليوم.
I'm actually very hungry.
I'm hungry too. Cheers everyone.